Hello, and welcome to the Libri Labra Book Club. My name is Desiree, and I'm here with my husband, John,
Hello.
aka BookTube Hubby, and also Tom, who is a book club VIP member. Today, we're going to be talking about Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor.
Mhm.
But before we do that, I just want to say if you ever want to join us on camera with our discussions, and if you want to be someone who is part of the rotation as we pick books, you can do that by becoming a book club VIP member at patreon.com/librelabra. And there's a few other perks for doing that. But we are going to be talking about this today. This is the May pick, right? Yes. Yes. It is our May pick. And we are going to go over our initial thoughts, and then we will jump into spoiler territory. So if you have not read it and you don't want any spoilers, just go read it, come back. The video will hopefully still be here when you're ready. But Tom, tell us a little bit about what made you put this as part of your selections.
It was the kind of thing where you say happen to hear in, well, for me, the various places I look up like new book information from, and they were all like, "Oh yeah, this is really good," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll read it then." And I know we read Akata, which God, I don't know, I forget how many years ago, but this was so much different than that.
Yeah.
So, which I appreciated. So that's how I got to it. Like I said,
So
everything I heard about it was said it was really good.
it was, part of your three book selection. And then
Yes.
I picked it because for Christmas, it's kind of hard to tell because I was
Mhm.
telling you that I have a bedazzled copy.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, so there's jewels on the
Mhm.
title, and then over here. But my friend, this is actually an advanced reader's copy that she had received, and then for Christmas she bedazzled it and she gave it to me as a gift. So I got it for Christmas, and so I was like, hey, this would probably be a good opportunity to read it and discuss it, and so that's why I picked it. But initial thoughts, John.
I don't even know what I was getting. Same situation. I don't read too much into what we're gonna getting into. I'd like to go into it blind, so I really didn't have any initial thoughts. But um, I don't know. It's just curiosity.
But like, if you could sort of summarize how you felt without necessarily reviewing it.
I thought that was after the fact. Initial thoughts on the book or initial
Yeah,
thoughts going into it?
initial thoughts on the book.
Okay, I liked it because it had sci-fi elements to it that are kind of grounded in the reality that we're living in now.
Mhm.
How about you, Tom?
I would say optimism would be my first choice for like how I felt. And like I said, I did want to read more of Okorafor's work because I don't think Akata Witch was for me, and there's this very specific reason as to why. But I don't want to spoil that and the other book. So maybe I'll save that for the spoiler section. So.
I think like normally she writes Afrofuturism and sci-fi
Mhm.
fantasy stuff, and this was being referred to as more like literary fiction, um, and
I don't
obviously
know. It seems to be
it
both
does
to
have,
me.
yeah, it does have its like sci-fi elements, but they said it was like more so her most personal work, and
Hmm.
it was more literary fiction than like her other stuff. um, I feel like it just left me with lots of questions, and now I'm like super curious in regards to uh, just the author's opinions on a lot of things. Because mentioning in the book doesn't necessarily mean that she endorses the things that she put in there, but it felt a little bit like she was. So um, I don't know. I'm curious to hear more about her thoughts on AI and other stuff. I think so. That's kind of my initial thoughts. But Tom, I will let you lead the discussion. I did pull up some discussion questions just in case we
Okay.
kind of dwindle, but I'll let you kind of take it for now.
And we are now in spoiler territory. So
Yes.
if you don't want spoilers, get out now.
Pause it and come back.
Yeah, to read what I forget how long the book is, like 12 hours. It's 12, I think it's like 8 to 12 hours audiobook.
I think it was like maybe 16, but it's 430 some odd pages.
Yeah, that sounds right. But good audiobook narrator, although I don't remember
Oh.
who did it.
Absolutely. And I would also like to add to the fact that Desiree listened to it at a speed I normally wouldn't. And I still understood everything.
Ooh. Okay. So you're getting good.
No. No,
No?
she has sped up other books, and I'm like, no, stop. But the author did and enunciated everything in such a way that I was able to keep up at almost 3 speed. Is that what you did?
No.
You said 275 earlier. You still
I
He's outing you
was
now.
at one point. God, John.
He's outing you right now.
I know. Jesus. At one point, it was 2.75. When I was in the car with you, it was like 2 or 2.25.
All right, that makes sense then.
Okay. Well, I guess my first question is, what were your initial thoughts when you actually started reading the book? Whoever wants to answer those first.
Okay, so this is an arc, like I said, and there's like a dear reader in here. Did you have that, Tom? Was that in there for you too?
I'm not sure because I'm using my phone for the streaming. So
she basically was talking about where this story came from and how it was after her sister had passed away that she ended up kind of focusing on it, but it had somehow been a story that their family had talked a lot about, but she just didn't feel, if I'm reading this correctly, she didn't feel like she was up for the task until after her sister had passed away, and then she felt like she kind of had to write through her grief.
Right.
So that was really fascinating to me. I really enjoyed the Nigerian aspects of it and the family dynamic. So all of that was really interesting to me. And I really appreciated Zelu as a character. Because I feel that just a lot of her personality was really relatable when you are someone who kind of just chooses a different path than the average person, to constantly hear people telling you,
pushing you back.
Yeah. Telling you you're crazy, you can't do it, you shouldn't do it. And then especially when it's family and there's like a whole bunch of other stuff going on.
And of course they mean well, but yeah, that's kind of a small box to be confined in.
Yeah. And there's just like a lot of fascinating elements about it, I guess, because like culturally they believe that people with disabilities, I guess, were punished in some way. And that's a sucky thing to believe. So to have to fight that your entire life, because culturally that's what your culture and your family believes. I don't know.
Right.
And she's obviously a very resilient character.
Yes.
So there's lots of hope in that respect. I also was very curious when this released, because obviously there's so much AI happening right now. Okay, January 2025. So that was a while ago. But it's interesting to read it now with everything that's happening, because I don't know what your experience is, but I know in publishing, or at least what's coming at me algorithmically, it is a lot of anti-AI.
Oh yeah. So
especially like in writing and publishing. So this I thought was just a departure from that.
I really think it depends on how the AI is being used. And this is supposed to be futuristic and apparent. When we have an idea of what AI is supposed to have been, that seems like that's what's involved here versus what AI is right now.
Maybe at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because in this like scenario, humans weren't there anymore.
Right.
So like I guess who cares what AI is doing after we're all gone? I mean, like at that point, what does it matter?
The point's moot then.
And
Yeah.
then, like the machines could do and like entertain themselves however they want at that point, I guess. But I don't. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember reading it saying like how the humans disappeared or what happened or.
I'm actually wondering if it's a maybe I missed a note too, but I think it's talking about how much automation helped kill us off because they automated so much, and then that we didn't like.
I mean, what like
We
at
just
some point we have
stagnated.
no purpose. Yeah.
Right.
And climate change and conflicts and so I think it's a whole
Everything that's
collection
on
of
the
things.
horizon.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what with the war between what is it, the nobodies and the
Humans.
the Humes, yeah. And it's like, oh no, we have to fight this war first before we save the earth from this total destruction. It's like, what? Wait.
Hi, Margaret. Thanks for popping in.
It's worth a read. I can tell you that.
I mean, yeah, it's
I enjoyed it.
definitely one of those things that will leave you thinking.
I liked the fact that we went through her story, and as we were doing it, we were taking steps into her story, like the book that she was writing, her novel, as she was going along. And to point out that fact, the back of the book is actually
Well, again, this is an arc. I don't know if that's actually the back
right,
of the book, but
right, but it has the her book title there. That was really cool.
Right.
I mean, and to look at it a little bit more, on this side where you have the human silhouette, there's like microchips in the background.
Oh.
And like ones and zeros, so like binary code. And then on this side where you have the robot, there's like trees and foliage, so like more organic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's my bookmark. More like living organic things. Oh, and the dolphins.
Although that's the context in which they found them or created for themselves.
Thank you.
So John, what were your initial thoughts when you started reading it?
I can see that, Margaret, that there would be
I don't
lots of
really-
different opinions.
I'm not sure I remember what I was thinking
That's fine.
because I went into it just not knowing what I was getting into.
Blind, yeah, I get it. Yes.
So I mean, it was just a matter, like I said earlier, it was mostly just curiosity. Okay, so what's happening here? So she wrote the beginning in a way that actually left you, because I think you get a little bit of the explanation of her family, what
Right.
Nigeria is like, and you get an idea of how she was treated right away. But then you didn't get actually why right off the bat. So you kind of had to work into it. So it was just, it left him. Oh, so what's going? I was like, ooh, what's happening now? What's going on here?
So what's going to happen next?
What is this? What is here? What's? Please show me more.
Yeah, and she has a lot. Was it 5 siblings? 4 or 5 siblings?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time keeping up with a lot of characters in that way. So I don't remember half of their names, sadly.
I mean, it's
Yes,
also a little bit more difficult to remember that when you're only listening and you don't ever see it visually.
Yeah. That's the reason why I asked you how you spelled that one name, because I was if I don't have a visual representation of the name, it doesn't stick. You're right.
Obviously, I mean, from context and I guess the names of characters, you would be able to identify which story you were in right? Is that what you were doing as you were listening? Because
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
flipping
because
through the
as it
book,
changed, it didn't warn you when it would go
they
into
would
it.
this little icon would appear,
Oh.
and the font. Well, hold on, let me turn it on. When it switched stories, there'd be a
See it?
little robot icon
Mhm.
at the chapter title, and then the font would change
Right.
to sans serif.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
So
Yeah, but I think from context clues you could easily figure out which story you were in.
I mean, I think once you start hearing the different character names,
Yeah.
yeah.
And plus they get their own, interviews throughout the book.
Hold on, Margaret just asked us a question.
Okay.
Which do you prefer, listening and not knowing spelling, or reading and not knowing pronunciation?
See, not knowing how to pronounce things definitely hurts.
I would rather know the pronunciation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because you could still see it and be pronouncing it like so wrong. Like, I don't know, Hermione comes to mind. I know a lot of people that pronounce character names like really strangely because they've never heard it.
Right.
So yeah, I would much rather hear it than.
Yeah, but then you get to, I know the name from Shakespeare, Portia and Portia. It's two radically different things. So
I mean, yeah, like obviously, when given a choice, I'd like to hear it first, and then eventually I'd probably be like, okay, but how do we spell that?
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, it would be to hear the pronunciation.
A couple of things. I do both. I do the immersion reading when I can, and that was the case with this book. So I had both.
Yeah, that's what I usually do too.
Yeah. But did you listen to what is it? And I think it's the beginning of the end of the audiobook where they say the author's name.
I wasn't sure I caught that.
Yeah, I don't think I remember.
Are we pronouncing?
Are we pronouncing right now?
If you're doing immersion reading on like a Kindle, you wouldn't hear it because it starts and stops before you get to it. But the reason I ask is because the way the narrator pronounced the author's first name, you could hear it was two N's.
Oh, really?
Nnedi.
Yeah. Nnedi, yeah.
Nnedi. Nnedi, because I was actually wondering about that. When you told me the name of one of the other characters, I was like, okay, so she it's not one, it's one syllable, but you can hear all the letters in it. So
yes. So say, oh, that's how that's pronounced. So good to know. I found that at the end of the book, but still.
That's cool. I may have to go back and hear that again.
But I'm trying to think what the first challenge was Zelu at the wedding. Yeah. And she apparently is not in good shape, because of what all has previously gone on, which we find out throughout the course of the chapter. But for example, what did you think about her getting fired from a teaching position?
Yeah, I was wondering what your thoughts on that, because I feel like you have a little more experience in that situation. Not actually like getting onto a student for actually being a jackass, but I mean like.
I mean, I don't know, but I feel like in response to like Zelu's story, specifically, like her entire character and personality is just about like adversity and rising above. So like for her, it's just one thing after another, starting with falling out of the tree or whatever, and her like I've seen it said by other people, but kind of just like writing her own narrative on her story, like not letting any of the things that she went through dictate the way her story is going to end.
Right.
I don't know. For me, I thought she said the right thing, but she was too blunt about it. She told him
Right.
straight up, "No,
Yeah.
this is shit." Essentially.
I mean, some teachers are like that.
Hmm.
But she also wasn't backed up by the administration.
Well, yeah, it seemed like the administration wanted to get rid of her anyway, and this is the pretext they use. I don't know. That's my opinion anyway. But as we know, she goes swimming eventually. I think if I recall that correctly. And somewhere in there, she meets Mzizi, or eventual partner there. But all throughout, she is high as a kite. Yeah, because all the weed she was smoking because she's depressed about losing her job and such. And of course, the novel won't come until it does,
Mm.
all in a rush. Because I thought that was great. It's like to write something like that when you're that depressed and that out of it, and then okay, this is time for inspiration to to
I
strike.
mean,
Let's
that
go.
makes sense to me. I feel like all creatives are kind of like writing from a tragic wound somewhere, whether whatever kind of art is being created, whether it's music or writing or
Well, if art is emotion, and there's a lot of emotion that comes out of trauma.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not sure what actually unlocked her, potential, but it was like lightning in a bottle, and boom.
Maybe she needed to have the time to away from teaching. I mean, actually was pushed into into
Right,
that situation. Like the universes had to make that time happen for her.
right. You know, Plus also, I know she made attempts at it before, but this is the one that's stuck, and here's the novel, and she takes it to her agent, and then it blows up, literally. You know. But what was I gonna say? I remember her first physical or first challenge, let's say, though. I think after they get back from the wedding is her in the automated car. The when she gets in, and I forget where she was going. Like her first ride in that. It was thrilling and terrifying at the same time, which I liked.
Would you
But
get in an automated car?
right,
Because I feel like
I've seen too many mistakes at this point. So like I don't want it to get stuck in a because I know you're a highly anxious person, but when I have no control over something, it kind of and you can't like override it and take over and fix it. Yeah, like I would want to fix something on the fly, and if I got stuck where it's just like it parked and couldn't move because somebody else was
I was
doing
like, yeah.
something or I don't know. I've seen it mess up too many times already for me to want to do that. They'd have to iron out a lot of kinks before I trust it.
Honestly, this timeline is just really sad to me because I've always been like a technology enthusiast, and at this point, I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Like the fact
going
that
the
I've always
opposite
been like,
direction.
can't wait. I've always been an early adopter. Like, can't wait for the next Xbox, the next thing, the next smartphone, like whatever it is. And now I'm just
What
like,
you gonna say, no?
no, I'm cool. Like, it's not. I think it's just all about trust, right? Like, I
right.
don't trust
Hmm.
the people working on the technology at this point.
Yeah, it's them. It's not the technology. It's them.
Because like all technology can have benefits. I mean, I'm not super hyped about AI at this point. But I understand how it can be used as a tool, and I understand how it could benefit us. I
Right.
understand that there are ways that it could benefit us. I don't think it's necessarily mostly being used for that at this point.
Hmm.
So, oh God. But yeah, I've heard a lot of horror stories about the automated cars.
Hmm. But she, as well, and now a science fiction writer, but she says she wasn't a genre writer prior to that.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden she gets interfaced with all this technology now. Just especially her robotic legs.
I would like to see more detail on those and a little more explanation on how they actually work, because it seemed like okay, they molded to her form, and then like I feel like that's a little advanced technology from what we're seeing at this point.
I don't think it
Prosthetics
is.
is one thing,
I don't
but
think it is. Like they have like so they have prosthetics, but they have like I don't know how it works because I didn't invent it and I'm not a
Mhm.
like an engineer or a scientist or anything. But I've seen that they have prosthetics that somehow talk to your nerves so that like the person can think about moving a hand that's not there and activate the
Mhm.
prosthetic to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like that.
I I may be wrong, but it felt like that they made it seem like it actually like molded to her system, like from the
Yes.
outside, like it's just like it crawled up and then locked into place. And I
Like
was like, oh, some Iron Man stuff.
it might not be identical, but I think we're kind of close to that,
Right, right.
Right.
which is fascinating.
Hmm.
Um, and the pushback from her family about it.
Hmm.
I mean, you talk about very highly traditional family things versus
Right.
they were all scared too. This was just
Yes.
all scared about it. It was just like, oh my god, what are you doing?
But I mean, like,
You didn't
well,
trust God? What is this?
one,
Hmm.
I think she was like, I don't know if she said she was 35 or 38 or like how much time
She was in her
passed.
30s, that's for sure.
But like none of them knew what it was like to not have legs or be able to use their legs.
Right.
Like,
That's yes.
I think that her family just had this particular view of her, and nothing would change that if they had their own, if they had their druthers, she would be exactly the same as she was, depending on them for everything, and not taking risks.
yeah. So Margaret shared a quote that says, finally understanding that celebrating technology as a goal in and of itself was dangerously misguided. Social movements are the best technology we have.
Hmm.
I like that.
Sorry, my alarm was going off.
And they certainly benefited her when they were in Nigeria.
Mhm.
But that was another thing. It's like, on the one hand, it's like, well, spoiler here. After her father's death, he gets buried in, Nigeria, and the entire family has been there except for her because of safety reasons. And then it's like, okay, well, I finally want to go and actually see the grave and where he's buried and such, and they're saying no, it's still unsafe, and turns out, well, guess what? They're right. But she should have the right to see her, what she wanted to see. So I thought that was a good, how do you decide? And she did.
Well, was it expressed on how much danger she could have been in by going over there, or did we just like, no, it's too dangerous for you, and that's all that we got? Because I didn't understand until it happened. I was like, oh, because she's famous now.
Yes,
But
exactly.
but
Ransom.
okay, right.
And like, and she had written the book that like took place in Nigeria.
Hmm.
So it was almost like she wasn't just, famous
Right.
in America, but then she kind of called Nigeria to the attention of Nigeria by including it in the story.
Hmm. Yeah, that, and she says, oh, hey, Nigerians are actually reading my book too, sort of thing. So yeah, she's well known in Nigeria, which of course is just creates more incentive to kidnap her.
It kind of seemed like her family in Nigeria was more supportive.
Yes and no. I think.
I mean,
Because was
it sounded like they had read her story, and they were at least there was one aunt that seemed like
yes, there was one. But no, I'm thinking more of the male side of the family. Like that's where we get the oh, you're disabled, oh, you must have done something wrong, or oh, you're however old you are, why aren't you married and why aren't you pregnant?
Yeah.
So again, it's fitting people into these roles that maybe they don't want. So, which brings to mind when when Cece and Zelu get hitched, they're not they say never husband and wife.
Yeah, yeah.
They're partners. So, but off through the book, it seems not necessarily a struggle, but a process where Zelu has to train her family to get used to her doing these things. Yeah.
It's
Do
true.
they ever though? I mean, like at one point, her sister's like, "I give up. You win."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't know who you are. You're just gonna like. um, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I just feel like you just have to let people be who they are.
That's what it's the
Yes.
acceptance of their personality. Finally, it's like you just all right. I'm gonna stop fighting on these things. I can't.
Hmm. And one of the great character moments is, when, for her space voyage, it's like, she tells her mom, it's like, yeah, Dad would go. And by the time we get to that, the reader knows that too, because that's the kind of person he was. And that was great.
Yeah,
So,
I
and
was
then
kind
she
of sad
finds,
she didn't get to share it with him.
right. But, the mom concedes the point and says, yeah, he would have.
Hmm.
So, but it's just interesting, how success builds on itself, because first, she writes the novel and, oh boy, huge bestseller. And then, who was it? The MIT guy, I can't remember his name. He contacts her and say, "Hey, do you want robotic legs?" And then Jack Preston and say, "Hey, do you want to go to space?" It's like,
Hugo? Was
what?
it Hugo?
I keep thinking
I
Hugo. It's not Hugo Weaving. That's the other.
no,
Is it Hugo
I thought
Elrond.
that
I don't
Wagner?
remember.
Wagner?
I don't
I'll
remember.
find it, but
It's
But
pretty late in the book.
I'm almost positive it was a Hugo. Yeah, I doubt I'm gonna just stumble. Oh, Hugo Wagner, Professor Hugo Wagner.
Is that's
okay,
okay?
yeah, but the four of them become very close because they're bonded by the experience.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
especially
so
Hugo.
it was Hugo and his two assistants, right?
Right.
Marcy and one of the other guy from Nigeria.
It begins with a U, and I can't remember his name.
Uchenna.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'd say, yeah, once you find one, she tends to mention the others in close proximity. So, oh, and of course, in between, I think it was in between, the bestseller and the robotic legs, you have the film adaptation.
Right,
Oh,
which
man.
like
At least I could appreciate that. I knew that she was going to hate it.
Yes.
She's like, Hollywood's gonna whitewash it or do something to change it, and she's gonna be like, "What is this trash?"
Yeah, and it is their fault, but it really isn't, because how could she possibly know? Because it's like, oh yeah, they're professionals, they should know what to do, but no.
Right. I'll leave it in their hands, and then she's like, "Why did I do that?"
Hmm. But yeah, once she actually went to the premiere and saw it, it's like, oh no, what did they do to my movie? Like changing it.
I think she actually said, "I never want to watch that again."
Yeah.
I don't know how common it is now, if it's becoming more common practice, but I feel like I'm hearing more about authors, getting the opportunity to like
Be more
be
involved
more involved
Participate.
and write
Yeah.
more of it. Yeah.
because you're not doing anything for the fans if
It's
you're changing
deviating.
it.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that Hollywood still has to Hollywood, right? Because you're adapting it into a completely different format. So like a lot of things have to be
Mhm.
considered that if you're not used to making movies that you're not going to know about. But like, I think there's certain beats in books that, kind
They
of
need
need
to
to
be touched,
stay.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I can't imagine what it would be like, for the author to hear somebody say, "Oh, I love the movie," and it's like,
Right.
yeah,
And it's like
that's
so different
not what I wrote.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be rough.
But and that's another thing. How fickle the the public is. When when the first comes out, oh yeah, yay, and when's the next one coming out, sort of a thing. And then
I would say there is a very big difference in writing the thing for a specific audience than to write it for the masses.
well, that and with a book, it's you, whereas with a movie, it's a group of people, at
Right.
least a huge group of people that have hands in the pot there. So, but what was the incident that like caused everybody to hate her? That we're going to cancel you, and I can't remember.
It was other disabled people being upset that she had it
that
so
she was,
easily
like-
that she
well-
she got the legs and was walking around on them, right?
No, I thought it was the fact that she wasn't talking about them, that she was like sort of hiding it.
That she just came out of the blue with him.
I specifically remember her being on an interview and they started asking her to talk about it, and she didn't want to address it. So they started calling her ableist because she didn't want to be seen as disabled, I guess, having the exos. And so they felt like she wasn't really representing other disabled people,
Right.
because she was almost like functioning like she was no longer disabled.
Right.
So that's
but the question I would ask is, if you had access to those lights, would you use them? And the answer is yeah.
That's what I mean. They were mad
would.
that she had that privilege and nobody else.
Right. But and that's, like I said, success builds on itself, and she wrote a hit novel, and hey, not going to draw.
I must have that part, because like it didn't seem like they were mad that she had them, only that she wasn't honest about
Right. I mean, it's
having access to them and using them and stuff.
Right. And it is. And I was about to say, she didn't sign on to be a poster child for anything.
Right. That's
she
true.
was trying to live her life.
Right.
So what right does the public have to say,
right.
oh, you should do this or the other?
Nobody's owed anything.
Right.
But I get it. I also get, the fan side where you want to be able to see yourself in media and other people, and especially when people have privilege, you want them to be, talking about.
And that's understandable. When does that tip over into entitlement?
Right.
Like her students, she told them the truth and they got her fired. Same thing here. She's telling the truth that she knows it. Oh, we don't like that. We're going to cancel you. How do you win in that scenario?
So Margaret was commenting here on me talking about, I guess, author involvement in their adaptations. Said that may be a result of authors needing to be their own brands these days, so that their involvement might help rather than trip them up.
And I think it's also just to avoid the huge, oh my God, they did this, to my book or whatever. So
I appreciate that she touched on the lack of empathy, that I don't know what to call them, just like fans or readers or anyone that's just kind of like taking in media or entertainment or anything like that. How there is that sense of entitlement where they were just telling her like, shut up, we don't care, just write book 2, like which is like super messed up.
I'll do it when I'm ready. Okay.
And George R.R. Martin should,
right. That's who I was kind of thinking of.
Right.
But also, I mean, not that this author hasn't experienced it. I'm sure lots of authors have experienced it, which is unfortunate. But also the way they mentioned kind of looking at fan fiction of their own work because of the fact that book 2 hadn't been written yet. But a lot of it was based on the film.
Oh, yeah.
Which again, like, really at that point you have no control over what's happening. And like that's got to feel terrible, especially with like a personal story to lose
Hmm.
control of what happens to it in that way.
You also can't
Yeah.
be influenced by those fanfics,
Right.
so you can't
See,
like
right.
because if it
Because
ends up in your
legally,
book, then
yeah.
then they're like, hey, I wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it was
Well,
based on the movie and she didn't really like the movie,
Yeah, she's
then
probably
maybe
safe.
maybe she's safe.
yeah, but you read a lot of them, as I recall, though. Yeah, just
Mhm.
to see. But I don't know. One book that I was reminded of while reading this was Yellowface by Rebecca Kwong.
Yeah, it's mentioned in there, in
Yeah,
here somewhere. Not in the story itself, but in I think like an introduction to the book. It
right.
mentions Yellowface.
Interesting.
But Okorafor, does the opposite in the sense that it shows you, yeah, authors can live their lives too. They don't need to be beholden to. It wasn't that you know Zelu didn't want to write it. It's just that she couldn't. She
Hmm.
just didn't have it in her. Right? Whether it's writer's block or something else.
She wasn't tapped into the source at that point.
Right. Her inspiration hadn't struck yet. Boom.
I also very much like that it didn't really happen until she reached her final destination.
Hmm.
Like when she finally made that decision and did it, and that's when the book 2 was like, okay, I have it now.
Hmm. But she said that it was only for her, which I thought was great.
It's like, I'm not sharing this with the world. You guys ruined
Yeah.
the first
Oh
one.
my god.
Yeah, screw you guys. So, I mean, we've talked a lot about Zelu, but we haven't talked anything about the other story in this book with Ankara and Injele, or Yankee and Dot.
No, no. I guess I don't know the meaning behind the Ankara name, but I guess Ijeli was a name of a god, and
Okay.
Was it?
She actually talks about
She
the
talks
source of.
the
like a masquerade. It's like
Orisha.
it was the name of a masquerade that her dad had taught her about.
Right. Well, her father would dance, the masquerade too. No, but she talks. She talks about. This is one of the nice, cool points I thought about the book is how she inserts details of her life into her book in the sense that, she likes Ankara fabric. She wears it a lot, so she calls the robot Ankara, and Ankara has that design, on her body. So,
Okay, what was your depiction of Ankara's physical description?
oh God,
Like like an actual steel robot or a copper? Because you even said that it was made of different things. That the one at the end, the one was made of copper, and then
mhm,
and that they were all walking around and rusted. So that's the
right.
reason why I didn't see it as an android.
Mm.
Because Desiree had asked earlier, was it like
Bishop.
Bishop from Alien? But I was like, oh, it could have been. That's the idea of what a human was supposed to have been. But I feel like when she gave the description that they're all walking around, they're rusted and time worn. That
Right.
that's I saw robots, not androids.
Oh, what the hell was his name? The not as small of a robot as that, but the sidekick in Kristoff's
Oh,
trilogy.
lifelike.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Yes, lifelike.
Yeah,
Not that small, but
I thought about it a lot. Like, you mean Cricket? I thought about
cricket. Yes.
I thought about the two his book a lot during this because she explained the differences between the robots
Hmm.
and their actions and what they but she had a little more depth to some of hers, I think.
Hmm.
Like, he had a great way of emphasizing the differences between his, but she
Hmm.
gave hers more, I guess, emotion and depth.
Hmm. And there's Udide the spider, which I thought was really cool. And I think there's some kind of god, and I'm getting this from a very, very, very vague memory of watching American Gods way back when, and it's like in that culture of a spider god, and I can't remember what the details were. So I thought that was cool that you brought that out too. But yeah, there's like all these little character similarities between Zelu and Ankara. It's like, and she'll she'll tell you about them, but then she'll like reveal something about Zelu, and it's like, oh, that's where that's why Ankara is that way, that sort of thing. So
how meta is this book if Zelu wrote a lot about herself as Ankara? Did Okorafor do that with Zelu? Like, how much of her life is inspired by some?
who knows? Yeah, who knows?
Well, like I said at the beginning, that it was mentioned that this is her most like personal,
Right.
hmm
personal story. I didn't get a chance to do it, but I had wanted to like try Googling her sister's name to see if like her sister was also an author, or
Mm.
just to get more information, I guess.
hmm
Um, but I guess I was assuming as I was reading the story that Zelu was kind of like a manifestation of her sister and her sister's personality or whatever.
Okay.
Is her sister just disabled?
No, but the author mentions that they were.
They were? Okay.
Yeah. It didn't say how, but it sounded like there were similarities to Zelu's disability.
I don't know. I just liked Zelu as a character. To me, she was
Agreed.
very, very likable.
Despite the fact that like everybody in the book was like just giving her shit the whole time.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe that's part of the reason why.
That's the no F's
You need
given
to do it.
attitude. Yes.
Right.
It was appreciated. I don't care what you say. I'm still gonna do it. I know you feel that way, and I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. She put out Jack Preston, only so long, and it's like, well, even after finding out she's pregnant, so I'm not that pregnant. I can go to space for 3 days or whatever, and come back. But I mean, as someone, that's what she really originally wanted to be, was an astronaut.
Right. She wanted to go to space.
So that was the dream, I mean, you're doing like what a good portion of the heavy lifting there because you're in space. So yes, therefore, you're an astronaut. Congratulations.
I feel like the whole space, like, as we got closer to the end, the story got more uncomfortable for me. With
In what way?
Was it the? I know what it is, but I don't know how. I don't know how to.
Yeah. It just felt like it was very positively speaking about someone in our current like political atmosphere that maybe shouldn't be getting so much positive. Like,
it was worrisome. It was worrisome.
But definitely like the part that really made me uncomfortable, like super uncomfortable, was the injection for her to have to go into space, and what was being pregnant. Said. That was like, no.
The idea. Do you want me to say something or no? The idea of changing her DNA to do the thing.
Right.
Yeah, that was like, what? What is happening here?
But
Like,
that
please explain.
sounds like
Well, so it was enabled to make her more resilient to the radiation.
mhm.
Right.
But what does that
At
mean?
the yeah, but um, I think that's what was at its core. But there was a lot of stuff on top of that that just made me feel uncomfortable. Yeah, about like altering
I
DNA
get
and stuff.
that.
And then not only that, but that messaging I feel like has been verbalized.
Right.
Uh and like in the real world in a way
Hmm.
that's like, I don't know, my man.
And all the caveat that this is all experimental. So just because it worked on this person or that person doesn't mean it's going to work on you. And oh well. But I know she mentions it in the book, but I don't remember what she says about it. She actually talks about the death of the author.
Yeah. So I think it was the name. She chose the name of the book because of what the, I guess, the metaphorically speaking, that as humans, actually humans were the authors.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So after they were gone, it was what was going on after the fact.
Hmm.
I think in the literal sense, doesn't that term have more weight in like publishing and craft in regards to um, this is something else I wanted to look up that I didn't fully look up. Um, but just in regards to like once your work is out there, that you kind of don't.
Oh, you don't have control of it anymore.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
George Lucas has entered the chat.
Ooh. Ooh. Ah. Good reference there. Yeah.
I thought so. But once it's out of your hands, people can interpret it however they like, and that's and I'm sure people come up with stuff as like the author absolutely never intended, but that's their reading of it. So
Well, how did you feel about the twist?
The twist? Whose
major
twist?
spoiler coming up.
Which twist?
I mean, I feel like it was the book's twist
Yes,
towards
right
the
at the end.
Explain.
Okay, unless I read it wrong, which feel free to correct me. But like we're essentially reading this the whole time with an understanding that Zelu created the robot story.
Rusty
The
robot.
Ankara storyline, yes.
Okay.
But the book ends with us finding out that it was the robot that had created Zelu's story.
Yes.
Is that not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it turns out that Zayla was actually like the great grandmother of the person that Ankara lived with for a while.
Ngozi.
Ngozi, yes, her. So
Nuts.
and that's where she got all the stories from.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I loved it, actually.
Yes. And it's the kind of thing where, not only is it, oh, holy crap, that was, a cool twist, but also, AI improved itself to the point of becoming creative. And like you said, making their own stories now.
I think we'd had to have done that before we died, to be honest.
Mm.
But yeah, you're right. And I don't know, for like the longest time, I've also believed or had the idea of that it's just a cycle, that we create robots, robots recreate us, recreate robots. Like it's just every few
Mhm.
thousand years we're just going through this cycle. And I don't like that idea. But this is a nod to that, to be honest.
Mhm. I would suggest having just read Frankenstein. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
But
I think if we weren't facing the things that we're facing right now,
mhm.
um, I might have more of an appreciation for
Mhm.
the ending and all of that. But right now, I can't detach myself enough from everything that's happening to be excited about it,
Agreed.
because it just made me feel like no.
Yeah. Don't encourage
Okay,
it.
yeah, that's very much.
So AI wins in the end.
Yeah.
Haha. No.
I mean, but like I said earlier too, at the end of the day, if the humans are gone, then it doesn't really matter.
It's
We're
true.
already gone. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Yeah, but like John said, it's a cycle. So, after how who knows how long, the robots will be gone, and oh no, look, here's
Life
humans
again.
again.
Growth.
Yeah, the humans 2.0 even. Same but different. So,
But I do like the fact that everything is really revolved around stories,
Mhm.
around
mhm.
finding empathy with the others, finding
Yes.
a connection where it wasn't before.
hmm
So
Yeah, that's how they saved the planet. Which is kind of a little unbelievable, but hey.
I mean, there's a few things I was like, okay, this needs to be explained some more, but it's not
Yeah,
gonna be. But I
it's not
mean,
a deal breaker. Yeah,
yeah, right. It's I mean, I can wrap my head around it a little,
yeah,
but
I can go with it
I
to a
still
point.
need more for it to be
Yeah,
plausible.
right.
I mean, I feel like I've had a lot of videos coming up on my feed recently, just talking about like the importance of reading fiction, not just because some people think like, oh, I only read
This,
nonfiction.
this. Oh my god.
Um, and like, of course, nonfiction is important. There's a lot of information in there. You can learn a lot from nonfiction, but um, it doesn't necessarily promote and help um, establish empathy the way reading fiction does, because fiction puts you in a completely different person's perspective. Um, and so, like, one of the last videos I watched, it was talking about like CEOs, how CEOs, their biggest problem is that they don't have empathy for the people that work for them or anything else. And that's like an area that they're struggling. And part of it is because none of them are reading fiction.
And I believe that they see empathetic people and they see how what they do and how they act, and then they just imitate that without actually feeling the empathy. So, like going through the motions, in other words. But but yeah, I mean, I what?
No, I was laughing at Margaret's
Margaret's
comment.
got something.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
she said, I spent most of the day reading a Josie Silver novel. Which one? Um, but then the other comment was, they already read Art of the Deal and they think they're all set.
You actually, I heard you listening to one of those, and the guy named or someone named a list of books, and I'm like, oh yeah, he can. I could see all of those on your shelf behind you, but it's never something that's got fiction. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
he named off four of them. And I was like, holy crap, those are all ones that like, make yourself better at this, do better at this, do better at this, but it's not. It has nothing to do. It has growth, but in the wrong areas.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, it's one thing to learn facts, but it's another thing to feel
Mm-hmm.
something about those facts. And then I recall reading "Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee." It's like with the mass extinction, to the Indians and such. And it's like it's one thing to know that exists, that happened. It's another thing to actually read and say, "Holy crap!" That's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Um, I don't know. I think we can do final thoughts.
Oh snap! We talked about this one, didn't we?
Yes, we did. See, as I said, it's a good discussion book.
No, I'm definitely gonna be thinking about it a lot.
We'll
And
pass
like
it around like the
I
other
will like,
book.
yeah,
Make sure
and
everybody reads this one too.
I was trying to look up interviews with the author talking about it, and I couldn't find any. I could only find like people reviewing the book, but
Maybe she's like Zulu. She doesn't want to talk about it.
Mm. maybe. Well, what do you rate it?
5 stars. Would recommend.
So
4.5 for me.
I think I was gonna give it 4, but then like after talking about it more, because
Mhm.
it is gonna stay in my mind
Yeah.
a lot.
And yours also sparkles.
So
Now it sparkles.
yep, my bedazzled arc.
Does it work that way? I feel like I didn't.
I tried.
Yeah, the light won't bounce off of it right.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo.
So yeah, I would give it 5 stars. And I'll have to see which ones of my friends have actually read it. I think Tiff read it because she gave it to me.
Did she?
I was almost
You
positive.
better ask.
I was always positive I
Yes.
today, and she said yeah.
I thought she gave it to you because she wasn't gonna read it.
All right, I'll ask again. I'll ask again. We'll see if she cares.
You give it back to her. Read this, then give it back to me.
Yes. Emphasize that last part.
A super cool gift, though. I really appreciated that.
Yes.
Let's see
Oh
if I
yeah, what
can
is next month? Read
remember what we're reading for
something.
June.
Golden Boy, something.
Golden Boys, yeah, guide.
Pride Month.
It's this month, not next month.
I said this month.
I know.
June.
I'm settling I'm reminding myself that we need to knock it out. That one.
Yeah, The Golden Boy's Guide to Bipolar,
Oh boy.
which is kind of like the second book after. What was it? The Latina's Guide to Catholic School.
That's the one we read. I don't know
Yeah,
if
that's what we
the
read.
one
So this is about her brother.
Oh. That's
I
good.
didn't know that.
Oh,
See, I'm not going in blind this time.
You guys, I thought you
Did
guys
you
knew.
not hear the part about we don't like knowing about the relationship? How many times have we said that?
Similar looking.
We
Check
did not.
me.
Yeah, you guys.
We didn't do that. We don't look at the covers like you do.
Yes.
Same author, same cover, and then like yeah, because her brother in that previous story was like had just kind of found out that was what was going on. So this is his. Yeah.
So a companion novel, maybe. I don't know if it's a sequel.
Yeah, I would say it's like a. I don't think it's a direct sequel. I would say it's more like a companion novel.
Okay.
I mean, I guess we'll find
That's
out
cool.
if we read it, but yeah, that's what we're reading for this month for Pride Month. So it's LGBTQ mental health rep.
I get July then.
Yep.
So I will figure something out.
All right. Well, one more time, if you ever want to join us on camera, you can do that by becoming a book club VIP member at patreon.com/LibriLabra. If you've hung out this entire time, thank you so much for hanging out. Margaret, it's always nice.
Thank you, Margaret.
It's always nice
Thank you.
and see you in the chat. So we don't normally do it at this time, but
No, we don't.
enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and hopefully we'll see you next month.
Yep.
Take it easy, everyone. Bye.